Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Fuji Guys. In today's episode, we're going to go over the top features of the new XP90 digital camera. This is the latest in the shockproof, weatherproof, waterproof style cameras with a Wi-Fi feature. So please sit back and enjoy. So the first thing we'll talk about today is the zoom lens. So the zoom lens itself has a 28 to 112 5-time wide angle zoom lens, and this allows you to have nice wide open, wide pictures or wide images. That's going to allow you to get great group shots, great landscapes, and great action video as well. So here on the side, you can see that we have a W and a T. So W is for the wide angle. As you can see here on the top is the meter for the zoom. So as you use the zoom, you'll see that it zooms right in, nice and responsive, very quick to respond to your action. So it's a high quality Fujinon glass lens. It has OIS stabilization, so you do have some optical stabilization as well. So you get a nice 5-time zoom with your underwater camera. So often we either don't know how to set up the camera, we're not a photographer, we're just a snap shooter, or we're not sure what mode we should be setting the camera in depending on the situation. So in SR Auto, the camera will automatically determine between, I'm going to say 14 different scenes. I'm going by memory, but several different scenes. It's going to choose face detection. It's going to choose macro, backlit portrait, night portrait, things of that nature. So this really does allow you to, and as you can see, it even tracks the face, so it knows where the face is at all times. And that's in complete SR Auto. I don't have to set anything up. The camera does it all by itself. And again, whether it's a macro or a landscape or backlit portrait, as you saw here, it'll show you in the symbol here in the bottom left-hand corner what mode it's going to. So if we're doing a close-up or if the camera's not sure, it'll go into auto. So this is a very difficult situation for the camera to determine what exactly is going on. But if we're doing, say, a close-up, I'm going to use another camera here as an example. It goes right into the close-up mode like that. So it's very automatic, very intelligent in that sense. And it'll kick in flash, but you're very limited as to what you can do in SR Auto. You can do some flash, you can do time-lapse, and you do have access to the interval timer during that time as well. Now, as much as the camera is intelligent and can do all these things all by itself, like determine, in this case here, we're in a portrait mode, we can also tell the camera what we're about to shoot. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is we've got portrait mode, as we can see here, so I'll keep with that theme. We're going to go into the shooting mode here. In menu, in the first option you can see, and here you have all the different modes. So you can go to completely automatic, you can go to program automatic. So automatic, the camera won't use face detection, it'll just automatically take a meter reading and then fire the picture with or without flash if you've canceled the flash, if you didn't want flash. In program, you have a little more control. You can actually do some exposure compensation, and you can control a little more of exposure. You can actually control the exposure a little bit better. Then we have things like action camera. We have pro low light, HDR, natural flash, portrait mode, landscape. So these are all the different scene positions you can choose from. So like I said, I'm going to stick to portrait, and now the camera will always be in portrait mode. So at this point, I don't even need face detection because the camera's already going to know that I'm going to be focused on a face. So it's going to make sure that everything is optimized so that everything is nice and sharp for that picture. If I go back in, I can then see here landscapes and so on, and then panorama as well, sports action, night tripod, sunset mode, snow, beach, underwater, and so on. And the underwater macro, those are ones because the light is so blue because of the water. So it'll actually compensate the white balance as well, so to make it even a better image quality as well. So these are all the different modes and scene position that you can choose from. So amongst the scene positions that you can choose from, so we were at SR Auto, we have Program Auto, and so on, you can actually choose advanced filters. And what these advanced filters do is give you, some special effects in your images. So we have toy camera, which makes it look like a little, children's toy camera. Miniature mode, where it makes everything look like a diorama. We have pop color, which really pops the color, hence the name pop color, but really saturates the color quite a bit, as you can see in this frame here. So that's pop color. You can see it's really poppy in comparison to a regular picture like that. Let's go back to our shooting modes here. So we have advanced, we have high key, so for intentionally overexposed, low key, intentionally underexposed, a dynamic tone, and then you can actually create like a fisheye effect, which is really neat. Soft focus for portraits, and cross screen. Hard to tell here just because of my lighting, but this will, oh, there we go. We're getting a little reflection off of the images that I'm using here, so it gives you that kind of cross look. So that way we can really see. And that's only because I'm getting some little highlight spots off of the print that I'm using here. Again, menu, shooting mode, there we go. So we have cross screen, and then we have this kind of sketch mode, which is really neat as well. So it creates like a sketch look to your image. Partial color, so this is partial color red, as you can see. So everything's black and white except red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Where's the blues? There's the blues. And purple. Do we have purple in this picture? We may not have purple in this picture. I have every other color except purple. Not able to help out with the purple on that one, but I think you all get the gist. So also in the shooting modes, you have panorama mode. This gives you a nice wide panoramic shot. This is great for scenery, or even for if you're doing a room, for example, and you want to show a 360-degree image of the room. So you go into the shooting modes, and on the first shooting mode here, I've already got to set it to panorama mode, but this is the same place where you're going to find all your auto modes. So here you'll find your panorama. We'll go back to it, and then we'll go back to the image, and now we see here which angle we can do and which direction. So I'm gonna shorten up the angle just for the demo. I'm just gonna go to 120, just to shorten up the angle a little bit. And ideally, I would actually recommend you do from top to bottom, and I'll show you why. When you change your orientation now, your sensors actually has more lines in this direction than it does in this direction. So it's actually gonna give you a better result as far as your panorama goes. So I'm gonna, and ideally you wanna keep as wide as possible. So I'm gonna see if I can get this to work here. You wanna keep that line as straight as possible. Of course, I'm not using a tripod or anything like that. There we go. Now it processes the image, and that's what I ended up with, an image. It actually, I think it warned me that wasn't able to do it because it was too slow, or I was going too slow. So let me try one more time. There we go. I think I got it now. There we go. So there's my panoramic shot. To view it, you just play back and press down, and it'll play back your panoramic shot. Now, you do have choice, like I show you here. You have 180 or even up to 360 degrees. So this being an action-oriented camera, there is a high-speed shutter mode on this. So this would allow you to then shoot at very high speeds, up to 40 frames per second in lower resolution, but up to 11 frames per second at high resolution. So we're just gonna go into the menu, And we're gonna go to continuous, and you can see it's set to high right now. So right now we're just setting the parameters of our continuous shooting. So here it's set to high. You can go as high as super high mode, but then you do lose image quality. So we'll just do super high continuous just for the demo. And there we go. And then, as you can see, I'm still in single shot, right? Now, down here, this little button here, it's hard, might be a little tough to see, but there's this little button here, and it's your continuous shooting. And when you press that button, it kicks in your super high continuous shooting mode. Now, you noticed that my resolution dropped. So now it's taken 40 frames per second up to about 20 frames or so. It could be more than that. And it'll also depend on your memory card as well. The faster the card, the more you'll get. So here you can see the wide shot. If I go to the left, that was the first wide shot I took that was full resolution. Now I've got the continuous shooting. It's at a 16:9 high speed. And in the bottom here, you can actually see a little animation of all the images. So I can actually press down, and now I have access to, 70 images. So it's 40 frames per second, up to 70 images. And now I can actually go through and look at all 70 pictures and pick the best one. So the camera is equipped with full HD video. So to get access to it, so you can see here on the screen, full HD right now. So we'll go to the shooting modes, and we'll go all the way down to the second page where you have your movie modes here. So first you have your movie AF mode, which basically allows you to choose either continuous, so it's going to continuously focus on or just continuously focus all the time, or the center point, so it'll stay to the center and always be in the center. Now if somebody walks through that center point, it will refocus at that point. And then you have your movie mode, so this is where you have your choice of resolutions and so on. So it'll actually tell you how much time you can do in each mode, depending on the resolution. So the higher resolutions will reduce the amount of video that you can do. But you can go up to 320 frames per second for slow motion video as well. And then to record a video, you just hit the video button here. Now in video mode, it will go SR, so we're in SR Auto right now, so it will actually choose between the 3 different scenes, including, I believe it will choose faces as well, face detection, but in this case it will go to macro just because we're really, really close right now. But it does give you, some options as far as full auto, landscape, and macro, and so on. Now, I'm going to stop that video there. So you just hit the same button to stop the video. Now in the menu here, in SR Auto, you can change SR Auto. So if you're doing like action stuff, so skateboarding or water skiing or anything like that, you can put it to action mode, and it's just going to maximize the results as far as high speed and motion video as well. So one of the features that's been added is the time-lapse mode. So I'm just going to go down here real quick into the movie setups, because that's the first thing you should do, is go into your time-lapse movie modes right here in the shooting menu. So it's on the second page of this shooting menu. And here you can see it's at full HD, 60 frames per second, but sometimes you only need 30 frames per second to do the playback, depending on how many frames you're going to take during that time lapse. This will actually affect how long your video is. So 60 frames per second, if you've shot 120 frames and you're only looking at 2 seconds of video. So that's kind of how the math works there. And you have different options that you can choose from 10 frames per second to up to 30 frames per second. So, so first you choose which mode you want. So I'm going to go 10 frames per second just to kind of show kind of how this works. So once you're there, we'll get out of the action camera mode here for a moment. There we go. We'll just go straight to SR Auto. You can of course choose any of the modes that are there during your time-lapse video. And then here you have the self-timer button here. And you press down on the self-timer, you have 2 second, 10 second, or 10 second, then 2 second. And then you have the group timer, which is kind of neat. So you can actually choose how many people are in the group before it'll actually take the picture. And then the interval shooting, so we'll set that up. So I'm gonna do 3 minutes or 3 seconds, every 3 seconds for 5 minutes just for the demo. So, but you can certainly adjust that accordingly. And then you press focus the camera and then take the first shot. And then the camera will refocus for every shot after that. Now, you notice the screen goes black in between shooting, and in fact, the longer the duration in between each interval, the longer the camera will actually kind of shut down and go into standby mode. That's so that you can maximize your battery power and get the most out of your time lapse. So I'm just going to cancel that for now. Now it won't do the movie mode for me. So when I go back into the interval shooting, you get a choice. So we get okay, and then you have still, lapse, movie, and stills. So in this case, as I was mentioning before, depending on your frames per second, so this is 10 frames per second, I can actually get an 11-second video out of 101 frames, which is about the 5 minutes of video or of still images that I would take. Now, because I canceled it, it's not going to do the video, but we'll post up a couple of examples of time lapse. But I think that pretty much explains how that works. So the XP90 is equipped with the Wi-Fi remote control. It's pretty simple to set up. So on the camera itself, you do have the Wi-Fi option. So the easiest way to do it would be to go to playback mode and then hit the Wi-Fi option. So this kicks in our Wi-Fi communication. So now I'm just going to go to my settings, and I'm going to see the XP90. Whoops, let me move my finger there. Let's cancel that. So we have the XP90, so we're going to select the XP90. And there we go, so I confirm that, and I'm just going to grab the app. And now it's asking me if I want to connect, and I confirm okay. There we go. So now we have a full live view on the camera itself, so it turns off the screen. This is good if you're at about 30 feet distance on a tripod and you want to control your camera. You do have access to the zoom. You have a quick zoom and a slower zoom, and a much faster responsive zoom to get right out, or you can slow it down a little bit as well. You do have access to video as well, and you have self-timer here as well. Now you'll notice the intervalometer is not there, or the interval shooting time lapse is not there. And that kind of makes sense, only because I don't think you would want to be connected to the camera while it's doing that. It's just going to take up more resources than that is necessary, so we'll cancel that out for now. We do have flash control as well, so auto forced and suppressed in this case. So that's pretty straightforward. Now to take a picture, you just hit that big red button, and now it's recording video actually, because I forgot that I had actually switched it over. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to then switch over. Now it gives me a battery indication, tell me my battery is getting low on my camera. So now I'm going to take a picture real quick, and then I'm going to go into playback mode. And now it shows me everything that's on the card. So all the pictures that I've taken on this memory card are here. I can select them all if I wanted to, and there's 124 of them. I can download the movie or the movies that I want, and it will limit you up to 2 gigabytes, and it will tell you how much free space or lack of free space, like in my case here, that is available to you as well. You can change the size of your image preview, so if you wanted to see more of them or just larger thumbprints of them, or if you actually zoom in, now you see the image itself, you can actually, pinch and zoom, and then you can actually swipe and then select the ones you want. And as you select the ones you want, it will keep adding to the bottom here for you, and then you can import everything to your phone that way. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything else, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and never forget to follow us on Twitter @TheFujiGuys. So until next time, thank you so much, and see you soon.